What specific outcomes would you hope to achieve through training in leadership and culture building?
Besides change for the better, positive change, is that all strata of the organization are involved and have a say, and also that the decision makers are open to shift gear or shift direction if need be, if it's brought to their attention by their subordinates, or that something is not working, or they have another option. So the openness in seeing that there might be readjustments
Hmm.
is big, because sometimes you see, this is what we're going to do, and they're forcing it, and although it's not working, that's putting a square peg in a hole. No, we made that decision, we said we were going to do it, and we're going to do it no matter what. So
Hmm.
that mentality has to go.
Hmm.
And that every voice has that every voice can be heard and be appreciated. It doesn't mean that everything will be taken into consideration, that the change will be affected, but at least to give it an honest uh attention
Hmm.
and not dismissing it without weighing it.
Yeah, I
Sometimes you
like
go
that.
reading, they say, yeah, 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 but they don't really mean it. So that is crucial. And all these, from the top down, because they're the making the decisions. And also what we want is that the whole organization feels like they've had some input and they are valuable. Because you were talking about if uh the subordinate, the frontliners or the middle managers don't agree with it, it might be implemented or not, or half done, and it's going to cause chaos.
Hmm.
It's not, it's gonna make the machine not as effective. It will also create a workplace that where it's let's say when when people don't feel valued or appreciated, there's a ripple effect.
Oh, for
So
sure.
So I don't know if I answered the question, but these are things that I would want to see, because when all this is included, you will end up with a better product, something that's more wholesome, that has a pulse of the organization
Hmm.
and what is needed to create an effective changes, not change for the sake of a change, but an
Mm.
effective change. It's funny you should say that. You talk about purpose, because a lot of my clients, they don't know, they don't want to do what they're doing anymore, but they don't know what they want. And
Yeah.
what's missing is that purpose. So that's what I work on. And once they find
Hmm.
it, it's like eureka. And you talked
Hmm.
about it on that tangent. I can't remember who said that. It was somebody asked this Mason, what does he do? He said,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah.
I'm a Mason," and all that. I really like this analogy.
Hmm.
And because, they were building a cathedral that took centuries to build. It was not, most people who
Hmm.
started would never see the end product. And you look at the different perspective, and you ask another one of the workers, and he would answer, I'm building a cathedral. So his purpose in the team was the production, the creation of the cathedral, whether or not he would see it till the end. But his purpose was that, and that gave him satisfaction. And this is it, when you want, sometimes there's a change, say, well, why are we doing this? Because we're changing it. But if it doesn't make any sense, or we don't see the purpose of the change, it leaves a bad taste, and a sense of, what am I doing here? What's this
Yeah.
for? If people don't understand what their contribution is, or what they're part of the organization, how do they fit into the bigger thing, the bigger scheme of things in the organization? It's kind of demoralization. For example, I think of I don't know if you remember the movie with Charlie Chaplin, Modern Days. He's in the
I just
factory.
heard reference to it recently in a book, actually. Yeah.
And this is what they do. Say, okay, they're not going through the mill. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is what I do. So we don't, that's not what we want to create. This, we want to get
Right.
away from that. Unfortunately, it is still prevalent in many, many organizations because of the way things are done, the
Yeah.
mentality.
Choose rather than are expected to stay or do extra work or do something at home. As soon as it becomes required or expected that, this is what our best players are doing and we expect you to do it. As soon as it loses the autonomy of choice, then you lose that buy-in and that discretionary effort.
And you're losing the joy of doing it because somebody does it voluntarily. It's because they want to,
Right. That's it.
and
That's the
it's a
part.
totally different, yeah. And oh, I was going to say something, forgot. It'll come back. Uh, what was that? Yeah, it was about when we were talking about satisfaction. Yes, it's coming back. We have to understand in our organization, our human resources, our humans working, the people working in the organization are our biggest asset. So we don't take care of them, it crumbles. So once, and you see it in an organization where they really um look after the well-being in every sense of their employee, it doesn't mean that they make the highest pay necessarily, but the work environment is such that they have pleasure going to work, they feel valued, they like what they do. It's not just a job,
Hmm.
and it's not about the money.
Right.
That's
And there's lots of reference to that. It reminds me again of Daniel Pink in Drive, mastery, autonomy, and purpose, because those are the three things his research identified as being what really matters about keeping knowledge workers motivated.
and that deflates the balloon, you know? When
Yeah.
you do this, it's like there's a sense of lack of value, you know? You don't value the fact that I gave this to you, you expect it versus thanking me for doing it by
Hmm.
saying, okay, from this point on, this is what you should be doing, and not acknowledging that they had gone above and beyond and thanking them for doing so without being
Right.
asked. Because a lot of people, when they're happy, they say, oh, it's okay. I like doing this, or oh, I don't mind doing this because, well, they like the person, or oh, it's okay. I don't mind doing this because it's helping the team or it's helping. I don't
Hmm.
mind.
Right. So I'm going to go to the next question, and that is,